All right, man. So this match you are on the Zeratul. First things first, let's take a look at the draft. What would you say the strengths and weaknesses of our comp versus their comp would be?
Strength and weaknesses, we have combo potential, provided I can time my VPs correctly off of either. Well, basically, I can initiate or Joanna can initiate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Joanna took Blessed Shield though. I think they might have gone Falling Sword.
Okay.
But either one of us could initiate there and basically set up for Ring of Frost,
Mm-hmm.
follow up or something like that.
Okay. And,
They, I guess, I feel like they, if we messed up our wombo combo, then we kind of need to reset. But I don't think we ever actually did.
right. Okay. So first and foremost, I think it's really important that we get to level 10 with our composition, because before then, we just don't have the tools to win the team fight, I think. We do have the Alexstrasza, and this is Infernal Shrines. So the objectives we do have pretty strong control over, I would say. But I don't think that we win those fights by getting kills necessarily, just by out shrine clearing and preventing them from pushing in too hard, because we have the Arthas and the Alexstrasza and the Johanna. So I think your main job in the team fights is essentially to watch Brightwing's polymorph. As soon as polymorph goes out, that's your cue to be able to actually play the game. Because until that happens, it's just not worth you trying to go deep and get big cleaves and whatnot. Because if you get polymorphed, it's gonna get followed up by a taunt, and Grayman's gonna rip you to shreds, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's basically what happened.
Okay, so yeah, it really just comes down to monitoring these two heroes, making sure that those crowd controls, at least one of them is down, and the other one's not easy to land in a bad position. Other than that, Void Prison wise, you can pretty much land it on anything as long as it's two heroes or more. I don't think there's anything that you have to avoid. Yeah, okay. Let's start it up. Volume's still too loud. All right.
Prepare yourselves for battle, heroes.
Oh, I can't see your abilities. Hang on. You gotta do it this way. Which number are you? Here you are. Okay. And you have the announcer from what's it called? The wrestler.
Oh yeah, the Spanish.
Yep.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, you're going for the Cleave build. Okay. So yeah, one of the most important things when you're playing Zeratul is that in the early game he's extremely weak. His health bar is very low. So you basically just want to only use Blink to escape, to avoid taking damage, or to just to guarantee getting a kill if you know it's safe to do so. Your primary purpose until level 7 is wave clear, catch soak, and avoid taking too much damage.
Gotcha.
Okay. So there are still all 5 here. We do get the kill. You're committing a little bit too hard. You still have Blink though. Okay. I think probably could have split off a little bit sooner to catch soak. One person needs to go top though.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like we were kind of staying around a little long there, so I decided to stay too. I didn't know what the call was.
Totally. We were close to getting the pick off onto the Leo. Still nobody's top though. That's a big problem. So yeah, we definitely don't want to have both tanks in the solo lane, like in the same situation here. Like either one of these tanks needs to go top, or I guess you do. It's not ideal for you to be the solo laner in this situation because we have these two tanks, but Gotta catch the soak. So it does look like you head top. Our tanks are going a bit too ham over here. But we get 2 kills for 1. That's not terrible. We're missing mid soak though. Glad you're soaking this. So you have vision on the Leo here. I think fast clearing this isn't necessary. Do you know what I mean?
So you're saying I should just basically try to match Leo?
I would say best case scenario is you just sit in this bush or this bush, like sit around here. You're still catching the soak from this wave, but you're slowing down his rotation potentially and getting free damage on him. Basically in this solo lane matchup between Leo and Zera, all the damage that you get on him should be permanent because his Drain Hope, you can avoid it entirely with your blink. The moment if he lands it on you, then you just blink max range and it breaks, right?
Yeah.
So so if you can land a singularity spike on him while he's rotating, get a cleave, a couple auto attacks, and then blink away, you're just chunking him for about 40% of his health, and you're taking maybe like 10% of yours from like 1 auto attack or something, right?
Got it. Okay.
That's sort of how that solo lane works. Because right now, by fast clearing this, you have no more abilities, and you're actually going to miss the soak, and he's going to catch all of it here. And there's nothing else for you to do. You see what I'm saying?
Got it. Yeah.
Small detail, but...
No, I like it.
One thing that is important is try not to give him a skeleton swing cooldown reset. So hitting a hero reduces the cooldown and mana cost by 50%, right? So if he's looking to clear the wave, don't stand in the wave. Don't be hit by it if you can avoid it, because that puts it on a 14-second cooldown. So yeah, you put your singularity spike on this minion, and you get hit by the thing, so he gets the cooldown reset here. So it's not ideal. So they go for this invade, right? Okay. So I definitely don't like that we still have you as the solo laner. It's very unfortunate. I'm not sure why that was done, but
yeah, I mean, I figured it should have been, I guess, the Arthas up there, but
yeah,
it just never happened.
I guess it's because they have the Leo solo lane. Okay, that's probably why. Nonetheless, what's it called? You could have Vorpaled immediately back as soon as the tether breaks. In this situation, he doesn't want to fight you. Do you see? If he's down here, as soon as you break the Drain Hope, you just Vorpal right back, prevent him from catching that last couple minions of Soak over here by keeping him down here. Get some free damage on him, because he's going to try and walk away. I guess he does have Wraith Walk, so he'll probably try and Wraith Walk away. So you can just get a couple more hits on him for free.
Okay, yeah. I definitely have a lot of work to do on the, I guess, the min-maxing here.
Yeah, I mean, don't be hard on yourself. Like, I've been maining Zeratul, so I'm going to notice every detail.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to play him more often, but I just feel like I don't have good enough communication with either of my teammates because I'm playing with a bunch of randoms, or there's just all these little things where I'm just like, I don't know that I'm going to get the most out of him. Like, I feel like there's probably another pick I can do and be more effective.
So I think that Zeratul, he's pretty versatile. If you know how to play him correctly, you can play him into most drafts. He's pretty hard to counter if you play it right. I think that as far as communication with your team, it's hard to do like the wombo combos without communication, but you can still use Void Prison for pure crowd control. It lasts for 5 seconds, and just leaving it up for the full duration time is still really nice. If you're landing it on 2 or 3 people, then it's huge, because that means that 2 people that are not inside of it are alone for those 5 seconds. So I would say when you're playing with randoms, using your Void Prison as a either to crowd control or to like give your team a chance to regen their cooldowns and then continue. Those are both.
The cooldown regeneration's been like my primary MO. Like I've always started trying to let it time out.
Right.
It was when I started playing with you that we actually tried to start timing it better for like wombo combos, and so it's my first actual practice at doing that. These games I did.
Fair enough. So I think this early game we really want level 7, and yeah, I die here. So I'm glad you're still soaking. We probably shouldn't have been this far pushed up. Yeah, we got 2 people down. So
I felt like that was a call in game anyway. I think we were saying we need 7.
Yeah, it was. Okay, they missed most of this wave still. That's not terrible. So you're just double soaking. You gotta rotate for this. Don't stay top.
Got it.
Because yeah, by staying top, you get a minuscule amount of damage on the tower and the gate, and you killed 1 minion here.
I felt like I didn't want to run into that gray main. I could have swore I saw him mid.
He was mid, and he had to rotate top. That's the thing. You're ahead of him on rotation, which means that if you rotate to mid, he'll be at top by that point.
Right? See, I think that's just a general misunderstanding on my part. Like, I saw him mid, and I'm like, well, I don't want to.
You actually do want to run into him. This is the best case scenario, right? If you're rotating even the non-safe way, that means he can't get to this top wave if you stop him en route, right?
Well, right, but I wasn't thinking about that so much as denying him soak. I'm just seeing him mid. That's what I'm telling you, like, just in my mind. It was like that's a misunderstanding that I had. I wasn't thinking about him catching top wave. I was thinking about him being mid and he losing that exchange.
So in that exchange, I think you only lose it if you stay in his melee range for too long. In the Worgen form, or if you can catch him while Inner Beast is not available, you do outtrade Greymane for the most part. So I wouldn't be too scared of this matchup because he has no crowd control. So at any time you can always blink away, right? As long as the blink range is as long as you're not blinking within range of his Dark Flight. That's the only part that could be iffy. Is if you're, let's say you blink to here from here or something, then he can close that gap with a Dark Flight. So you should never use your blink until after he's used his Dark Flight. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're pretty hard committing to this. Yeah. So this is another thing that's important. I came to catch the mid soak in right before this, when it should have been you. What that does is it prevents me from being in the bottom lane to clear this. You see what I'm saying?
Got it.
So that's really why it's important to try and get the double soak when you can. And then we could have all been 4 people bottom, and then they might not have gotten this pick. Everything is like a little ripple effect, you know?
Oh yeah, like I appreciate this.
So Greymane's double soaking right now. So he's mid. The waves clash mid first. Okay, so the waves clash mid, and then like 3 to 5 seconds later they clash top. So by staying top, you're putting yourself behind in a rotation that you are already quite ahead in beforehand. You see what I'm saying?
Got it.
Okay, so yeah, so definitely don't want to stay top. After you've cleared the wave, get your mount up and get to the middle wave, catch that soak, because now the middle wave is going to get lost right here, because there's no chance that we can't do anything about it. Soaking it here, we're dealing with a lot here. Looks like you're starting to rotate, but at this point it's a little bit late. Greymane's going to catch the vast majority of the soak, and you're going to miss the vast majority of the soak. And that's just because of the mid-wave clashing first. So now you're in the mid-wave at least, so you can clear this first. Try not to take the minion damage here. You have all your abilities up. Don't want to... This is bad. This wave still needs to be soaked. So you want to get your second cleave off and immediately leave. because he has to stay here to clear. You can fast clear this and then try and cut him off on rotation. You have better wave clear than he does. You can clear the whole wave within 6 seconds because that's the cooldown of your cleave. You can get 2 cleaves off, first one immediately and the second one after 6 seconds. He has to actually flask plus dark flight plus Q and still has to hit like all the minions once or twice with his auto attacks. So you definitely have a wave clear advantage in this particular matchup. So you can try and slow him down that way. So yeah, you're ahead of him once again, but you still want to be rotating back to mid. I think you don't need to go the safe way though. That's okay though. Because you wave clear faster, you don't have to fight him. I'm surprised he didn't take your wormhole back. Nonetheless, that's fine. You clear and you go top. Top, 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 top. So in this situation, you're kind of just wasting a little bit too much time waiting around, I guess, thinking there might be a fight, but we don't really want to fight, and we really need to be catching soaks so that we get to 10 at least at the same time. It looks like, yeah, so you're still out soaking the gray main, right? So you're doing a better job than he is, but you could be doing even better than this. I think you could be at like 7,000 soak right now. And that would be a huge advantage for us because this is 5 kills to 3 kills, and yet we're ahead of them on XP. Imagine if we had an extra 1,000 XP. That could be what gives us the level 10 advantage before they do. We get a 1 fight or something.
I felt like you were just herding cats like the entire match.
What's that?
So I felt like you were just herding cats the entire match.
Herding cats? How do you mean?
I just, like, the rest of our team, I had no idea what they were doing.
Totally, yeah. No, and when you're double lane soaking, you don't need to worry about the rest of your team because you're providing more value to your team by double lane soaking than you are by trying to come and help with a team fight or something like that. The only time you want to split away from doing the double lane soak is when you have an advantage, a clear advantage that you can exploit, and that's a talent tier advantage like level 10, or if there's an objective that you have to contest. Other than that, double lane soaking as best as you can without dying is the most value you can provide to your team. Small detail, try and get an auto attack before you cleave. So try and auto attack like one of these ranged minions, then cleave, then continue to auto attack 1, 1, 1, 1, and then cleave one more time and it's clear.
Yep.
You don't have to be so mana conservative with your cleave because you're getting 2 globes from like twice as fast, right? So you can use 2 cleaves on every single wave pretty freely. And you do want to try and save your blink. You don't want to use your blink too much for rotating unless you're going to miss soak, which shouldn't happen. Yeah, don't stay top. We have the 10 advantage. It's super important that you start to rotate to mid right now because not only is this wave going to clash, but if for some reason we're able to take a fight, you want to be within the mid wave so that you can rotate quickly enough to be at the team fight. They did take this camp, so we're going to have to respond to that eventually. But okay. So there is a fight about to happen here. So as soon as you clear this wave, you have to start making your way down here. Okay, so you're on your way now. I think you could have been here a little bit sooner, but nonetheless, it's good that you're coming. Auto attack first and then cleave. That's still good. You get the pick. Okay, Void Prison's fine. It's only on 1. Would have been better if it hit the second, but... Okay, this is a bit of a problem here. When you land the Void Prison, don't, especially if it's on only 1 or 2 people, don't stand around doing nothing. Contribute to the fight. Just walk towards the rest of their team or use your blink. That's fine. You can secure this kill immediately, and you can start the process on this guy as well. Okay, so you do you drop? I think no, you didn't drop. That's the full duration. So you waited till you could get maximum value cleave. I'm sort of okay with that, but I'd still like to see you do more while the void prison is up, right?
Got it.
Was that a flask kill? Rip. Okay, so
Yeah,
you leave. That's fine. I'm extremely can't do anything. Here's a tough situation, right? There's soak here to be had, but there's also this. I think I'd rather see you miss the mid soak and go immediately to top soak, because it's both soak, right? But one is pushing your structures. So trying to defend this immediately prevents potentially them getting an extra tower.
Okay.
Tough decision, but yeah. And you end up missing a bit of the soak mid anyway, so you take the worst of both worlds, unfortunately. Okay. So we don't have the void prison for another 52 seconds, so we definitely don't want to fight until that's available. Top is cleared. We're ahead on XP. Quite a significant XP lead despite the fact that we're behind 1 kill, right? 3/4 of a level up.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than just 1 kill. Well, never mind. After the tower changes, the tower XP isn't that substantial anymore. But they have way more towers down than we do. Or, I mean, we've lost more towers to them than they have.
We've lost 1. Yeah, we took 1 tower away from them, and they've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, you're right. There's also the tower XP to consider, but most of it is just coming from pure soak, right? You have almost 9,000, and their highest is 5,000. It's a big difference. So you're providing a lot of value in that way. So this is a terrible fight. We don't want this fight. We want to be trying to play our XP advantage, and we want to be fighting on shrines where we can get dragon value, and oh, it's not even up. And we don't have void prison, so you definitely, I wouldn't come to this fight. If we're gonna lose people, that's fine. Keep soaking. Get 13 first. They are overextended, but so yeah, right here. This is exactly what I was talking about. You have to keep track of the Brightwing and the Varian. You blinked right next to the Varian, so you know that he's going to be close enough to land the taunt. And Brightwing was quick on the polymorph, so you're totally screwed. Both. Totally screwed. But more importantly, you don't have Void Prison. So even if you, for some reason, survive this, let's say you're capable of staying alive through the taunt, which you're probably not. If you had Void Prison, you could secure a 3-man Void Prison right before you die, and then we could turn the fight afterwards. So then it would be sort of okay. But I think in general, just coming here was a mistake, right? Yeah. So you actually had a small moment of survival right after the taunt that you could have potentially landed a Void Prison, but this fight all around is just unfortunate because we're using all of our cooldowns that we need to win the objective, and we don't have Dragon Queen either, so okay. Uh-oh. No. So yeah, they have a pretty significant chase comp. Like they can chase pretty well with Greymane, Leo, Maiev, and Varian. So definitely risky for us to be staying quite so long in risky positioning. So we do have the Void Prison, but we don't have the ring now. They've caught up now on Soak. I don't think this is correct for you to be here. I'd rather see you catch the top Soak, and then let after I clear this, then I'll probably go for this camp if they're doing this. You were just scouting it. So they're definitely on this. So yeah, you could definitely be catching this top Soak, and you don't need to show. You can basically sit in this bush and just passively collect the soak, because you're not trying to push the waves. You're just trying to make sure that you catch the soak, and hopefully they don't.
Got it.
It does look like we're contesting. It's a little iffy. So they took this camp. The moment they take this, then we can look to hard engage, because we know that they're not all together. We do have Void Prison, and we do have Blessed Shield. And you have your Void Prison, so let's see. So in this situation, if you wanted to go for a Void Prison, then I would say you could go for the Void Prison on these two or these two, either one. I think this is the safer play, because if you Void Prison these two, we can essentially focus upwards instead of focusing this way. If we focus the left side, if we Void Prison here and go this way, after the Void Prison's over, we're then in a very risky position, right? Whereas the opposite is not true if we do the other way. In addition to that, Greymane cleared this camp down here, so it's also beneficial for us to walk upwards, because it takes more time for him to reach this fight up here than it does for him to take the fight over here. But I need to see you a little bit closer. Like, you want to be here at this point, because you're still behind your Johanna, and you're within blink range of a Void Prison on either of these if you're up here instead of back here. So I think you're waiting for these perfect cleaves, right? And that's really risky into this type of comp, because of the fact that they have those two crowd controls. You're going to get polyed right now, okay? And taunted, and you're dead. Yeah, so that's exactly what should happen, right? You're going in to land the cleave and not immediately blinking back. So they're going to capitalize on that every time. You have to immediately Void Prison if you're going for a blink like this, or blink back. Those are your two options. You can't do neither of those.
Yeah, I don't even know in that scenario there I even had the opportunity to blink back.
I think you had enough time to blink back. Let me just take a look. Because the Brightwing didn't respond immediately. Oops, too fast. Okay, so let's see. You had 1, 2, yeah. So 2 seconds before the polymorph goes out there. So you could have blinked back. But even still, I don't like the positioning of your blink, because your wormhole is still so close to the combat that even if you blink back, Greymane can still jump on you and stay on you for a good amount of time, right? I'm not sure if Varian could have still charged that. He probably could have charged this. He probably would have charged and taunted here instead. So really the problem I see is that your blink location is just way too risky. You're trying to go for a cleave on the Brightwing in addition to everything else when you don't need to. You can just land it on these two from a much safer position over here. So you can blink from over here to over here and blink and cleave. But more important than anything is just securing those Void Prisons sooner. So yeah, we also just haven't gotten to do the Void Prison into a Ring of Frost yet this whole game. But at this point there were two opportunities where it could have happened by this level. So that's just another thing. Okay. Oh. Does he live? It looks like he lives. Nice. Alright. So they get the objective. We only lost you in that team fight, so it's not too bad on the experience front. You catch top soak. Good. Once again, the later this team fight or this game goes, the better it is for you as a Zeratul. 16 is your biggest talent, is your biggest spike, and 20 is also a tremendous spike. Once you get to 16, do you know how to do the triple cleave combo?
Yeah, I mean, I know with the cooldown reduction, you get that basically cleave
on a
after 3 seconds if you hit more than one person, and then it's like cleave. You should be able to cleave again, VP into another.
So that's a non-safe way of doing it. The safest way to do it is with the Vorpal. So Vorpal has also a 3-second cooldown. So what you can do is you can blink in, land 1 auto attack on anything, get the cleave on 2 targets, immediately wormhole back, wait till just before the end of Vorpal to Vorpal back in, cleave again, immediately Void Prison, and then drop it to cleave the 3rd time. So doing that, you stay in danger for almost no time whatsoever because you're blinking in, landing a cleave with an auto attack, blinking back, Vorpaling back in, cleaving again, and immediately Void Prison. So you get triple cleave without any risk to yourself, essentially. That's the combo.
Okay.
So after you clear, you come to look here. I'm okay with this, but you're in a very risky position. This is almost dead. I'm low though. Actually, yeah, most of our team is really low. So this could be an opportunity to look for a Void Prison if we weren't quite so low, because you're coming from a surprise spot, so you could potentially hit several people. Like in best case scenario, you could land like a Void Prison like right here, and it lands on possibly 4 people, possibly. But the reality is that you have a Bright Wing in your way, so you're probably going to get found out or polymorphed before it can go off. So this is really just a risky spot. I wouldn't look to fight here. We also don't have Ring of Frost, so Void Prison can't possibly combo off of it. I really dislike this, right? You're using your blink and wormhole in a very unsafe position. What I'd like to see is you walk while stealthed to get the cleave and then blink to safety behind the gate. You should die for this. He has no taunt though. Okay. You don't get punished for it. But you see the problem, right?
Oh yeah, that was just reckless.
Yeah. I mean, you could have lived if you used Void Prison, but I guess you lived anyway because they didn't punish it. Still out soaking, so that's good. So we push this top pretty hard because they're going for camps. We get the top fort for free, it looks like. Did we get this kill? No. Alright. This is part where you peace out. I would Void Prison this right here. You don't have blink for 2 seconds. I think Void Prisoning right here is very good. It's probably going to be a 3-man Void Prison, and it allows us to focus on this guy, and it sets up a perfect Ring of Frost right here. And we have everything available. Yeah, if you don't... Okay, there it is. So you use it, but it's just a little bit late. You take an extra 20% damage for no reason, really. Okay. Do you drop it? No! Yeah, so you drop it just a split second too late, right?
Yeah, like I said, these timings for that, I'm basically a rookie at
Fair enough.
VP working.
So really, it's not VP that you need to be good at. It's you need to know how long it takes for things like Ring of Frost to go off. So
second and a half, right?
It's a 1.5 second delay. I usually go off of the sound of it, right? So you can hear it. Right, so that's the sound of the Ring of Frost. You got to drop it immediately right now. Yeah, that's the cue. Just watch that one more time so you can see it in full and without pausing. Okay. So this fight looks very different, of course, if that connects there, because there were 3 people that it was going to connect on here, that it misses because of that. So the green main wouldn't have been on you because you would have been rooted in here. But it looks like we're able to disengage, and we definitely don't want to continue fighting after that combo's gone. So we want to play it safe. We play for 16. Do they look? They look to invade this, yeah. We should just give it. Yep. Not worth it. Not worth it at all. I think you need to realize this. So you keep going for the multi-cleaves, right? They have a Brightwing healer. So her healing is passive, AoE, costs no mana. So going for these 4 or 5 man cleaves does absolutely nothing. And it only puts you in danger because they have crowd control that can really ruin your day. So the only time it matters to hit cleave on targets is when the targets are potentially going to die anyway because of the Jaina damage, or because they're stuck in an Arthas slow, something like that. Doing cleaves just basically pads numbers for no reason in this situation. You see?
Yep, that makes perfect sense.
Okay. Now, that's not true if they don't have a Brightwing. Like, if they have, let's say, an Uther or a Tyrande or an Ana, then AoE damage actually matters, because the Ana has to choose which target do I heal, as opposed to, oh, I just heal everything. Or like, so you wouldn't do it into a Brightwing or a Lucio to pad the stats, but you would do it against some other healers that will struggle to keep things topped off. So we need to be continuing to soak. We can clear this safely because they're showing. Still need to soak this, though. Need to soak mid 2. Alright, so they... yeah. I should die here. Dude, it looks like we're fighting this. Okay. Okay. So I survived, that's good. We do use life binder for it, but that's a shortish cooldown, so I'm okay with that. But we don't want to continue fighting. And yeah. Yeah, definitely dislike this. Let's take a look. So you are positioned over here. Blink
Yeah,
is
basically
down.
walk the long way around and then
So
blink to my death.
Throw a singularity spike onto the Varian, but you don't connect the... So what I'd like here is a blink over this wall, cleave, and immediately blink back. And that's it. You're done. Can't do much more. You could potentially secure this kill right before Brightwing teleports. And it looks like you're looking to do that, but you walk around the long way instead of taking the safe path across this wall. You walk up to here, blink up here, and you're going to end up getting charge taunted after that. And not to mention the fact that the Brightwing healing connects, so it's not, you're not going to get the kill. And then the rest is history. Yep. Alright. Whew, that was close.
Yeah, their Leo's getting value.
Yeah. Alright, but we have 16. This is the story. This is where the game could change. We still have the combo available now. And that's the cool thing, is that these cooldowns are very similar. It's an 80-second cooldown and a 100-second cooldown. So, generally speaking, you can always time them together. Because if Void Prison's available, then so is Ring of Frost. Unless the Ring of Frost is for some reason used in that 20-second window, which it should not be. So, once you get it right the first time, the rest of the game will be pretty easy, right? Alright, so they're all-inning on the Alexstrasza here, and there's really not much we can do about it. Ooh, okay. Hold on. This Void Prison secure... It's 2 of ours, 2 of theirs, and there's a Maiev here. So this isn't terrible. I think as long as we can kill Maiev, essentially. Okay, she walks in. Brightwing. So we have... Okay, so the healing does go through from the life binder, despite being in there. Here's the Ring of Frost. Alright, this one has to be dropped. Okay, alright. So it drops. They do get the armor barrier. That's part of the problem. I also don't have my Blizzard available, but I do have Cone of Cold. Alright. So that one went pretty well. Okay. Now, this is really great for us. You know, we've pulled ahead. We've gotten the double kill. But we've used all of our cooldowns to do it. So it's very important we immediately go for the shrine, kind of focusing on this. We could split off one person to clear this. Normally I would say let's do that because there's 2 people dead. But it's very important that we do this as soon as possible. So I'd like to see like the Artha split off to do this instead of you in this situation. The last thing you want to do is chase right now. And that's what I do, of course, naturally. Yeah, so don't do what I'm doing right now. This is a terrible thing to do. I definitely super hard chase this, and now Alex comes to save me while you guys are doing the right thing. Fantastic. Okay. Now I'm gonna die for this. Maybe Alex dies too. They're all really low, but doesn't matter. Alright, do we secure the objective? Do we leave it at 39? I think we leave it at 39. Sounds good. Alright, so this gives us a chance to clear. We clear this camp, we clear the next camp, and then we can capture it. You catch the bottom soak, kill the catapults. Cool. You clear the bot camp. Alright, so because of the fact that it's in the top lane and you're clearing in the bot lane, there's really no chance for us to be able to push in the top lane. So in this situation, we leave them to clear the objective, and we go and push bottom lane. We catch mid soak as well. So they've already cleared this now, so they're coming right now, for sure. Alright, this is a decent time for us to fight. It's not great because there's no objective, but we have all of our cooldowns available, so I'm okay with it. And it's post 16, so we have enough tools to win a team fight here. So, alright. The majority of them are coming from above. 2 of them just teleported here together. Greymane's over here. So, what's the best case scenario? What could you do in this team fight?
I think Joanna just dropped Blessed Shield. I think best case scenario, I could VP the Varian and whoever else that was up top right here.
Mm-hmm.
Right, those 2. And then we can either collapse on Maiev and Brightwing right there, or turn on the Greymane. But I think the Maiev Brightwing is the better call there. We already kind of got them sandwiched.
Because you also have the Cleave, so you want to hit 2 targets for sure. So you want to, while mounted, secure the Void Prison up here, and then immediately blink and try and get double Cleave on these guys.
I don't know if I did that though.
Let's take a look. So you definitely have to do this Void Prison right now because they're already on your Alex. They've dropped the taunt. Ideally, you land it so that it doesn't hit Alex. But even if you do secure it on Alex as well, it's not the end of the world because she's still safe during it. It just makes for better numbers. Alright, so you go for the blink and then cleave. You don't cleave yet. You just... Okay, so it's just too late, right? It's like a delayed reaction. This is the right placement 3 seconds ago, right?
Right.
But more importantly, you have to cancel it because you're only securing it on one of our teammates. So you're giving their team crowd control. So yeah, it's cancelable. You can definitely cancel it, definitely. Okay, now you get polymorphed, and now Johanna's sitting in the full duration of it, followed by silence, and you're dead. So yeah, That's a bit of a disaster in terms of team fighting. As a Zeratul, I mean, like, you really want to make sure that you're getting your Void Prison out. You don't want to do it reactionary if you can avoid it. You want to be proactive with your Void Prisons. So definitely want to see a little bit more decisiveness, like in this situation, just securing that Void Prison. You can place it essentially where people are running, especially when they're mounted. You don't have to place it on top of them. You can place it like right here, and the Leo will almost always run into it because he's moving at increased speed. So it's going to all but guarantee landing on, because the range on this ability is not that large. Right now, the closest you could land it, let's see. Okay, so now you could place it right here. This is a possible Void Prison based on the range, which is worth doing in this situation. And you do go for it, but you blink first, which is also not ideal because you want to still have blink for after the Void Prison. It's only okay to do the blink first if they're just too far away for you to reach, and it's really important that you get the Void Prison out ASAP. But one other detail in addition to this, you want to cleave before you Void Prison if you can, if they're clumped, because then you're just giving yourself the cooldown reset for once they're out of it, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you wait a long time to use your cleave, and you don't ever take your wormhole back. Yeah. So I think that's just a general thing that I've seen a lot of so far, is that you're using blink without wormhole, which is really bad because this is a huge power spike for Zeratul as a hero, and it's sort of what makes him viable in the current meta, because he can't stay in a fight, especially against a team that has a polymorph, a taunt, and a gray main, right? The reason why you end up dying so frequently in this game in team fights is because you're not using the wormhole. That's the reason why. If you were to blink, cleave, and immediately wormhole out, there's a good chance you could do that before the polymorph happens. Most people don't have fast enough reaction speed to do that before you can do your combo, because they're not expecting it. You're actively doing it. You should be able to pull off that combo in less than 1 second. So yeah, that's important, the wormhole. Because yeah, once you get crowd controlled once, it's over, right?
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty much a wrap with this team.
So this comes out not that terribly, I think. Yeah. All right. So this is a 3 for 2. It's not terrible. All right. Cool. Okay. Moving on. So we want to get 20. 20 is a huge power spike once again for our team. So it looks like you're going to catch this mid soak, which is huge. We're going to invade this, which is fine. Here's our 20. So we really want to open up ourselves a win condition if we can. Right now they have all of their structures still. So it's important that we try and get either a structure or best case scenario. So they're not quite 20 yet, so we could push in this mid, I think, as a group and try and take the fort out. This is a decent play because this is where the next objective is. So if we win the objective, that's a win condition because there's no fort. It goes straight to the keep and the keep wall, and it's a late game one, so it's possible that we can continue and push for core afterwards. Right? That's a win condition for us. The alternative would be to take this camp and play more passive. I don't love that play, but at least what it does, what you would do is you would time this so that as soon as the objective spawns, the camp is spawning, and then that should secure the top fort, so that even if we lose the objective, we're still opening up the top side for a potential win condition. So like, let's say we lose the objective, but we win the team fight, right? That's something that could happen, right? in that scenario, we could ignore the objective. The objective could be pushing mid. It'll take down the keep for sure and probably get some damage on the core, but it's not going to end the game on its own. Whereas if this fort is dead because of this camp, then we could continue to push as a group if we team wipe them and get this gate down, move on to the keep, and then go for the core. So those are probably the two options that I see right now. I'm not a huge fan of this. So the problem I have with this is we're already 20. So soaking doesn't really do anything. Minions don't really push that hard. So I'd rather see you taking this camp or just being with the group. Those are the two options that I see. This is a liability. They see you on the minimap and they can either try and collapse on you or they can try and force a fight here because they know that we're not grouped. See what happens. And that's exactly what they do. All right, so we use our ultimate here. And that's basically because you were here, you see?
Yep, okay. Yeah, I'm showing on the wave so they engage.
Right, that's why they go for that play. Because if you were not showing on the minimap, if they go for that play, you land one good Void Prison from a shady corner, and suddenly that ends the game for us, or like we win the game. So yeah. Shouldn't have capped it quite so soon there, but they're just not showing for a really long time. Okay, so they're definitely invading this camp. We could look to kill Leo right now. He seems to be quite isolated. I'm not sure why we're going around the side for Alexstrasza. It's a really bad position. Where are you at? Okay, so you're over here. You're looking to blink over the wall. It's a little risky, but yeah. The main problem I have with this play is if you want to take the fight, then you have to stay in because you can't possibly like wormhole back and then run around. It would take too long. You'd have to vorpal back immediately after you blink in. Okay, so after coming this side, then you come to this side. So you could go for the Void Prison here. I would cleave first and then try and land a Void Prison right here. Essentially, you want to try and avoid the Johanna, but you want to hit, this is the Void Prison, I would say, that lands on 2 to 3 people, and it zones the Brightwing out. Brightwing can't really help. So best case scenario, we can either kill Leo, or Leo walks into the Void Prison, and then we can land like a 4 or 5 person Ring of Frost and win the game. So you go for the over the wall, over the edge. So okay, all right. So you land the Void Prison on the back side. It's not terrible. It's a 2-man, and you did get your cleave reset. You didn't hit these guys though with the cleave. So this is a little bit awkward now because I'm a little bit too far to follow up on this one, right? So the best case scenario for me is to try and hit these two. And that's what we need to be focusing on now, is to kill these two, specifically the Greymane. That's the best case scenario for us, is we kill Greymane. All right, so I get close enough to potentially to land this. All right, so this could be a 5-man ring. You have to drop it in time. Okay. All right, so I see you do drop the ring, which is really, or you do drop the Void Prison, which is really good, but you put your damage into these two, which is really bad. It's super important to hit the same target as I'm hitting in this situation, right? I can't possibly hit these two, so this has to be the focus, and they're all clumped up, 3 rooted. So if you land your cleave on these guys, it's almost guaranteed that we win this fight, even though we're about to lose. Or I guess Johanna has Indestructible, so she's okay for right now. More importantly, you don't even get your cleave reset because of the Maiev jump. You see?
Yep.
Also, the Emerald Wind goes off, so that gets you crowd controlled. And now you're in a real rough spot. Yeah, okay. So I think that if you had gotten your Cleave off on the main group right here, we would have gotten a kill, and that would have allowed you to survive long enough to get your blink, and then we could chase down more kills after that.
I mean, I shouldn't have stayed on that backside after the VP in general.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Ugh, that guy lives for so long. Does he live? Comes back to die? Sounds good. Alright, cool. So this was good, for sure, but it was not great. And it could have been. It was very close. This does, in fact, take down the top fort and hopefully opens up a win condition on top. We just want to take this now. I just want to finish clearing this, I guess. Okay. Okay, I'm pretty low mana though, and I do have Ring of Frost back. No Void Prison yet. So we're ahead 22 to 1 right now. So basically the game plan that we have is to focus the shrine while unless they overcommit. That's sort of the way it works. We still have Dragon Queen, we have Ring of Frost. I don't have enough mana to use it though. I really need this globe. Alright, so you come from the side here. You don't have Void Prison yet. I'd like to see you come from this side just so that you're close enough to us instead of the top side. But, okay. Alright. Still no Void Prison. Ah, if you had Void Prison right now, it'd be so nice. Arthas is a little bit late. They're going to be, I think Varian's going to be late, and Maiev is going to be late. So we can take this fight. It's okay. But once again, they still have the polymorph here. So best case scenario for you is you land your Cleave on 2 targets and then immediately blink away to safety. You can then look to potentially blink back if you think it's safe to, but at this point, there's really nothing you can do until Void Prison's available. Yeah, okay, so I don't really love this play, just because, once again, your blink location is in a risky position here. If you get polymorphed right now, or if you teleport back and then get polymorphed, you could definitely potentially die. Veracity could save you with the life binder. That's sort of how I see it right now. Okay. None of that happens because the polymorph doesn't connect. Sounds good. And you got a nice three-man Cleave there, so that's a good amount of poke damage. I need 1 tank to be on this side to prevent this guy from running in onto me.
Yeah, you're actually calling for that here. You're calling for a tank bot and a tank on the left side.
Right. Yeah. Because once again, we just need to finish getting this. We need 13 more kills. They're like right here. That's all of them. We just can't let them kill our backline before that happens. I don't love having Johanna here, but okay, now we have Arthas in this corner. They're going to get a big tether. Unfortunately, I get pulled into the Void Prison. So this I can't follow up on. I can only try and spam my abilities at the end of it. So it's on you to do a majority of this damage now. So you could pretty safely, I think, walk into the Void Prison and start off with a Cleave as soon as it goes off. I would drop the Void Prison sooner rather than later, because we have the Life Binder going off every 2 seconds with the level 20. I think it's every 2 seconds. Oh, 3 times over 6 seconds. Yeah, so every 2 seconds. So you're actually negating the Life Binder ultimate by leaving it for the full duration. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's quite possible that we win this team fight straightforwardly just because they can't kill either of these 2 characters because of the Life Binder. Oh, man. That's a little bit painful. Yeah. You get insta-blown up. Let me take a look at that again. I'm curious. Was Brightwing inside the... Once again, you cleave before you use Void Prison. Very important. Alright, Brightwing's not inside it. That's why. So she's polymorphing you right now at 40% life. You see?
Yep.
And then the moment that you're out of that, just splat. If you can connect one cleave before getting polymorphed in this situation, you're fine. Because then you're healing yourself for like 40% of your life back. Alright. So... Oh man, it's so unfortunate, because if you live in this situation, we could turn the game around right now. They're so low. Like, if you land a second cleave on these two, they're both dead. And then you can clean up the fight as well.
Yeah, I mean, if I cleave before that VP,
Yep.
and then get another cleave after that,
Yep.
I'm alive.
Yep. And this looks very different. Alright, let's see.
I mean, I think that's pretty much game right here.
Pretty much. Yeah. We want to bait it to the top here. We need to be having like Arthas right here. Okay. So Arthas does bait it up to the top. But they're just all inning the core, and the Punisher is like, hey, wait, that's not a core. And that is the end of the game. So, I think, yeah, Void Prison usage, I think it's just a little bit too late in most of the fights. It's very important to be proactive with it, because you want to make sure that all of your team's abilities are up and available to follow up. There were a couple times where you went for a Void Prison where I might have had the ring, but I'd already used most of my other abilities, like Blizzard especially, and it's hard to finish up the kills afterwards. In addition to that, making sure that you're getting the damage, like in this fight over here, making sure you're getting the damage on the same targets, because in a composition like this, we have a very limited amount of burst damage. It's a lot of burst damage, but it has to be done on the same heroes, otherwise we run out of the damage. So yeah, in this situation, landing a cleave on the 3 targets here would have given you the Q reset, a 3-second cooldown, and would have allowed us to get, I think, a 5-man team wipe in this situation instead of what ended up happening, which was I think a 3 for 3. So there were just a few fights that were super close to being straight up wins. Like this fight over here was very close to being a straight up win. If you didn't instantly die right here, this fight we win, because we still had pretty much everybody after the fight went down. Let's take a look. Another thing is the Void Prison getting dropped so that Lifebinder can get value. That's important.
Yeah, I mean, those are like interactions I'm just not fully up to speed on.
Right. Cleave. Cleave. Alright. Yeah, so this Void Prison doesn't do anything. At least nothing good. The main problem with it being that it's trapping our entire team and only 1 or 2 of their team. I think a really good Void Prison in this situation instead would have been below, right here, because that's where they're coming from. So they have 2 people here, and the rest of their team is like all here. So landing a Void Prison on the bottom side, even if it hits Arthas, it's not terrible, because then we can just focus down these 2 that came in. We can kill the Maiev and potentially the Leoric, but he's going to probably live with March of the Black King. So securing the Void Prison down here, cutting off this entrance would be the place, I would say. But more important than that is just cleaving, cleaving, cleaving. Making sure you're getting it as soon as you can hit 2 targets safely. And then, because you can only see 3 people here, stand right here. This is your cleave position. Because this cleave from this spot right here hits all 3 of these targets. You don't have to blink here or stand here. You can stand right here. Like, it looks like you walk directly in the center of their whole team, but that's extremely not necessary. I want you to watch the range of Cleave. You see the range?
Yeah.
So yeah, standing literally in the very midst of 3 heroes at 40% life is just not necessary. If you had stayed on this side, I think it's possible you get and dropped your Void Prison a moment sooner. You don't get polymorph, and you get the Cleave off. You heal up to 80%, and then we can probably win this team fight right now. Instead of poop.
Brutal.
Yeah. In any case, this was a good game, and I think there's a lot to learn from it. This is not the easiest combo to pull off, because you have to land really good Void Prisons, and you have to cancel them at the perfect time, and it's a late game team fight comp, and so there's all sorts of things to it that make it a difficult comp to do. But knowing how to do it and practicing it will help you in other ways as well. And just in general, when you're playing Zeratul, it's good to be practicing landing Void Prison on multiple targets, as well as just knowing which are the targets that you want to be landing it on. So yeah, I think early game, I think that Soak was pretty good. I think you could have done a little bit better of a job to do the double lane Soak, but for the most part, you did a great job, and you ended up soaking quite a bit more than anybody on their team. And that's what sort of kept us in the game, despite the fact that we were losing early game team fights. So that was good. I think it could be a little bit better, but other than that, I think really what I want to see better is wormhole usage. That's the primary thing that I think you need to work on. Making sure you're getting value out of the wormhole, and placing the Void Prisons sooner in team fights. Those two things. Because once a team fight's already breaking out, that's when it becomes a lot harder to hit only their team and not your team, right? In this situation here, the fight's already broken out, so it's really a messy fight. It's hard to hit only their team. If you Void Prison first, before the team fight even starts, then it's almost guaranteed that you're only going to hit their team, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm being reactive. I need to be more proactive, I guess,
right.
on my V.
With Zeratul in particular, right? As far as your build, I think that this is obviously a very good standard build. I don't think you need to have Mending Strikes in this particular comp, because you never really want to trade with these heroes, right?
Yep.
So you can't
take
get
the shield.
Yeah,
probably there.
I would say that the shield talent is probably going to give you the best chance, because you're going to have just think of it like more health, right? When a team fight starts, you want to have the full amount of the shield, so it's 15% life. Yeah, so having just an extra 15% shielding at the start of a team fight would provide more value to you against this composition that has the CC, because if you survived the CC, then you could blink away, or you could land a Void Prison, or whatever. So the Mending Strikes is just providing virtually no benefit against their composition. Usually it is the better talent, because it's really nice to have a really high amount of lifesteal. It means that you can trade with most heroes, but you still can't trade super effectively into Greymane as long as there's a crowd control nearby. So yeah, this is just definitely not a trade game, you know? More importantly, at level 20, Shadow Mending takes care of all the healing you'll ever need. So this talent is only ever useful between the levels of 13 and 19, right?
Got it.
So yeah. I think that just about covers it. Do you have any questions?
No, not at the moment. I definitely spend more time playing more Zeratul and like working on these timing things and my blink usage and VP placement. I think I got a solid workload of what I need to do with Zeratul.
He's a very difficult hero. Like, he's one of the highest, skill cap heroes, I would say. he's very punishing if you make mistakes. But he's also very good at punishing the enemy team's mistakes. So if you can get a handle on how to play Zeratul really effectively, he can be really useful to climb. Especially, what rank are you playing at roughly?
I'm mixing in gold and platinum.
Right. Okay. So at that level, I think there's constantly people making mistakes, and Zeratul isn't banned out all the time at that rank, right?
He's never banned at that rank.
Right. So at my rank, he's banned almost every single game. So it's a lot harder for me to get him. But at that rank, because he's not banned, you need to try and take advantage of that. He's a very, very good hero that as long as you're playing it with a mindset of what are my strengths, what are the enemy team's weaknesses, then you can really get a lot of value from him. And he's amazing at soaking, right? He's got great wave clear. He's very safe because he's got the blink. And so what that does is even in a team or in a match where you're losing team fights, you're still not going to lose that much. And with the current changes of XP, it's very likely that you'll get to the late game because it's harder to snowball. And what that means is that late game team fight heroes are currently the best heroes in the game because of that. And that's why Zeratul is super strong, is because his level 20 power spike is so huge that because almost all games go to level 20, you're guaranteed to have a level 20 team fight most of the time. So yeah, I think that about covers it. Anything else you want to say?
No, thanks a lot, man.
All right, man. Very good.